Hi, y'all. It's Bridget Cutchaw with Real Things Living. Today, my guest is Shari Bookstaff. She's the founder of a nonprofit called Impact of Empathy and the author of When Life Throws You Lemons, Make Cranberry Juice. Can you say hi, Shari?
Hi, thank you so much for having me today
I
as a
really
guest.
appreciate it. I'm glad we connected, and you have a fantastic story. I should say fantastic, but it's an amazing story on resilience of what you had to deal with. So, guys, she had like a rare primary brain tumor, right? And then
Yes.
you ended up, I don't know if you had, I know you had a stroke, but I don't know if it was before or after the surgery. Can you explain a little bit what
Yeah,
happened?
I had the brain tumor that I had is called an acoustic neuroma, which is not cancerous. It's benign brain tumor, but it
Yes.
was about the size of a golf ball, and I was having pretty severe symptoms, so I had to get it removed. Right after the operation, they were not able to extubate me, and that's when I had the stroke.
Oh,
It was
wow.
right after the operation. So instead of what they had told me before I went into the hospital, they had told me that it would be a 13-hour operation, but that I'd only be in the hospital for 5 to 10 days. After the stroke, I was in the hospital for almost 9 months.
Oh my, I'm just got
That
chills.
that changed pretty quickly. Yeah,
Yes. Was it on the tumor on the left or the right side of your brain?
it was on the left side. So because it was above my head on the left side of my face is affected, and the right side of my body is affected.
So,
Well, I
right.
know left side's affected.
I have
There's
this
every
similar.
part of my body is affected in a different way.
It obviously is over 3 centimeters, right? And that's kinda why they wanted
Right,
to
it was big. It was big.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
big. And that's something that I mean, I had that same tumor, but mine is medium, well, 2.5
Okay.
centimeters, but I used, what's called CyberKnife, but mine was
Okay.
a little different, but mine was on the left as well, but it affects my right
Right. It
side.
affects
Yeah,
different sides of my body in different ways.
and that it
But
put
most people come out of this tumor fine,
right.
without any lasting effects.
And yours was obviously there were even though it's called an acoustic neuroma, it's still in a different position where it's in your brain and
Right, right.
size. And those that are listening, that tumor grows slow, my understanding,
Goes really slow.
and
Yeah.
that's why your body accommodated to it, right? And you didn't really know you
Right.
had it. I mean, how was it
And
discovered?
also anybody who's listening, if you're diagnosed with this, chances are you're gonna be fine.
Right.
Don't read my book before you have this operation. But I would definitely say read my book after if you're going through anything else. The way I discovered it was I started getting dizzy and nauseous, kind of really just out of the blue. And I had two young children at home. I was a single mom, and I started getting dizzy and nauseous. I went to the doctor. The doctor said, "You're fine. You have vertigo. Go home and it'll go away by itself." The next month, my symptoms were getting worse.
Oh,
So I went
wow.
back to the doctor. They again said, this went on for 3 months until they finally referred me to an ENT who said, let's just get an MRI to rule out a tumor. And obviously, the tumor, when the tumor wasn't ruled out, they actually found it while I was during the MRI. So the next morning, I had to go see my ENT, and we were off to the races after that.
Yeah, it's something that you have to treat, especially after that. You can't just monitor what you had to deal with, the size of it, or the surgery is probably
Right.
the best solution long term because it can be, cause paralysis. And it's my
Right. And
understanding.
and for me, since I was already having pretty severe symptoms, that
Yeah,
was the only solution.
right. I'm glad that you found it though. And it sucks that your doctor, I should say sucks, kind of
Yeah,
blew you off a little bit. And I'm sure,
yes.
yeah,
Yes, I was
and
not happy about that. Yeah.
no. And
And I
did
don't
you
know
have,
if they think, I don't know my own body, but I knew that something was wrong because I knew
yes,
my own body enough to know something's wrong.
something that's not right. Yeah, right. And so
Yeah.
how old were you? I know you said you were a single mother at the time. How old? I'm just curious of your
I
diagnosis.
was 42 and my kids were 8 and 12.
Wow.
So
Wow.
when I thought I was only going to get in the hospital for 5 days, I'm a professor at a local community college, and I actually had some of my students stay at my house with the kids, like as like nannies.
Right,
But
right.
then when it became this big thing,
That's
then my sister came up from San Diego, and my kids had to go live with their dad, and everything had to change, obviously.
oh, I just listening to your story, I mean, I have big chills because I've experienced it, but not at your level. Mine was related to so I had body aches, and then I had breast cancer
Okay.
in between all this stuff.
Oh God.
But mine is it was my breast cancer doctor that discovered mine because he said, "Let's do an MRI of your pituitary," which is in your
Wow.
and he found mine. Or
That's
like, "What?"
just yeah.
And it put pressure
Yeah.
on my pituitary, which I didn't, even though it's still in that
Right.
that area. But that's why you've got to be an advocate for yourself. And I think that's what you're
Right.
doing. You want to listen to your body, which you did, and you went back and were persistent.
Right.
And we know that before we got on the call, before I recorded, that you want to be positive to get through this, but it's very hard to be positive.
And it's a fine line because you want to, notice things that are wrong, but on the other hand, every time your finger falls asleep, you don't want to think you have a tumor. You
Yes.
don't want to. You don't want to always be planning for the worst case scenario.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have to. So there's a fine line on that.
How did you deal with it? I know your situation, you had to have a lot of support. You had to have your ex-husband help with your kids, and you had to a
Right.
lot.
I had a lot of friends who really, I mean, my friends, God, they took care of my house. And I had 2 dogs too.
Oh,
So
wow.
they would they one friend coordinated it all. And then they would rotate who was coming here to take care of the house. I think there was a broken pipe at one point, and I don't even know, but 2 of my friends fixed it. They got the house ready when I came home. They were amazing.
That was
My
beautiful.
friends really did a lot.
I'm assuming you also had to have some physical therapy, right, after all
Oh
this?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was 9 months in various hospitals and rehab facilities.
Oh,
And then
wow.
when I came home, I had to have physical therapy, but I couldn't drive. So right after I came home, my friends drove me places, drove me to therapy every day, and
That's beautiful.
physical, occupational, speech, every kind of therapy you can. Yeah.
I've
I had
I
all the therapies.
I learned you can't do it alone, and you definitely learned that too. You have to have
Right.
support, and you're
You have
very
to have support.
lucky
Yes.
to have your friends and family help
Yeah.
you
My
out.
family's all far away. My sister lives the closest in San Diego. So she flew up a lot.
Right.
She flew up so much that the people at Oakland Airport knew her by name. I mean, she flew up a lot.
Well, I think I see you as I mean, you're a great example. You're very positive now because and you also focus on the impact of empathy, like you mentioned in your nonprofit. So did you start that before or after the brain tumor?
Well, right after my brain tumor, first I wrote the book. When
Okay.
life throws you lemons, make cranberry juice. And the way the book started was, of course I had dark thoughts and was in a very dark
Yes.
place. And I wrote like dark emails to people in the middle of the night. And that's kind of where the book started. But once you put it into a book, you can't just be negative if you want other people to read it. So it
Right.
kind of makes you look at the positive aspects of your life. And the way the title came about, everybody says to you, you got to be positive. God will give you anything you can't handle. All those cliches. When life throws you lemons, make lemonade. And those cliches might be something somebody needs to hear. But when someone said that to me, I just wanted to punch them in the face. So when I went to title my book, I did a play on that. On that one, life throws lemons, make lemonade. And the way that I see cranberries, the reason I pick cranberries is cranberry juice is very sweet, whereas lemonade can have a sour thing. So I equated lemon to all the bad things happening in your life.
Right.
Lemons are raining down on you. And cranberries, those tiny little sweet nuggets that appear sometimes out of nowhere. Sometimes you really have to look for them. They're not related to the lemon. So I'm
Right.
not saying turn your lemons into anything. Your lemons are still going to be there. I'm not saying sweep them under the rug. But while you're dealing with your lemons, it's okay to find something that you're happy about. And that will change your internal scenery, what is what I call it. You change your mood. So you can deal with your lemons. You know, your lemons are always going to be there, but you have to be able to deal with them.
I like
And by
the
having cranberries, you can deal with them better. That's part of staying positive, is just looking for those little things, little
yes,
sweet things in life that I call cranberries, that you can, you know, learn to accept, learn that you deserve them, and that you can accept them into your life.
I like that analogy, and cranberries, I like cranberries too. Some of them sometimes they can be a little tart, but
They
but
can be, yeah.
right,
Yeah,
some not all of 'em
I might have murdered the analogy a little bit, but that's okay.
right, I mean, sometimes it can be, but you wanna, uh, like you said, you acknowledge your lemons that are in their life. You can't they're not gonna go away. You have and
You
you learn
can't
from those.
deny them, right? They're there. You can't just sweep under the rug,
And so
you know.
so I'm glad you wrote the book, and that inspired you to write a book. And did that then inspire you to do your nonprofit? Oh,
What that inspired me to do is go out and talk to people. Because
okay.
what I realized, and I didn't just realize this, but we all know that some medical professionals are really nice and kind and compassionate. Hopefully, most of them are, but a lot of them are just not. You know, I mean, people were just mean to me. Nurses that were
Yes.
on the brain tumor floor at the hospital were not nice to me. And I'm like, why do you not have this level of empathy coming from your healthcare professionals? So I decided to, part of my mission was to go out and share my story and tell them and come up with practical ways that they can connect with the patient and see them as a person and not just as a patient. So I started a lifetime of impact to go out and talk to just students, allied health students. I talk to people at my school and other local colleges. They go talk to their students and give them tips on connecting with their patients. And from that, I decided that empathy is something that's not only needed in the medical profession, but anybody who is leading anybody else down any kind of path needs to lead with empathy. Because when you lead with empathy, you get more cooperation. So that's kind of my pitch. That if you lead with empathy, you get more cooperation from anybody that you're leading.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure you don't did you not have any specialists in that kind of tumor in your area? Because I did not, and I had to end up going to a different city to get other
Really, no.
advice. Yeah, it was because it's
But
a rare tumor,
that's
and
amazing. Right.
yeah, it was,
So I live near San Francisco, and UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, is one of the best known places for this particular type of tumor. So the doctors that did it, assured me they were the experts in this. They said they've taken this tumor out so many times they should name it after themselves. And they
sorry.
really, I mean, I guess they had to, but they really laid it on think about how, okay I was going to be afterwards. So when I wasn't okay, it was a shock to everybody.
Right, that's and what's fascinating to me is, like, I'm just pivoting here, the Acoustic Neuroma Association is here in Atlanta. However, that's where
Yeah,
I'm at. They don't have any doctors that knew what
that's crazy. Yeah.
right,
So
and
where did you have to go for
well,
yours?
I ended up going to the doctor that made me feel better was, in Chicago, University of
Okay.
Northwestern Hospital. There was a specialist there. I went there that was closer than going to California. I did research on where
Right.
the
Right.
best doctor was, and then I ended up choosing, the CyberKnife for me because mine was 2.5 centimeters, right? Mine was medium, and um, that worked out better for me so mine's on my brain mine's really more of a vestibular schwannoma, which is on the vestibular nerve.
Mine was a vestibular schwannoma too.
Yeah, and it
They
was
also
pushing
call it a vestibular. Yeah.
yeah, it was pushing on my brain stem, and the doctors
Yeah.
here in Atlanta, either one was gonna radiate my whole brain, I'm like, "What?" And then the other one, like, "You're crazy." The other one s was explaining and I made a mistake going to this doctor by myself. He was explaining the drilling, and I didn't hear
Oh,
anything. You know
God.
what I'm saying? I mean, he was explaining where it would
Right.
I don't need to hear that because I don't know what you just said to me.
Once they say the word drill into your skull, like, you're not gonna hear anything else.
No,
I
and
always had somebody go with me to the doctors
right, I
because of
learned after
that.
that incident that was my first, I think, specialist I had seen about this when it was discovered. That's when I knew I had to have someone with me, and but then I mean, I was sad, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you understand that,
Oh,
and,
it's really scary.
yeah, it was very scary because you don't know what's gonna happen, but I saw some hope because, the song Coldplay came on, a new song called "I Will Fix You" as I was driving home,
Yeah.
and I just saw that as I'm like, "Okay, I'll be okay." I mean, that's kinda how
Right.
I, because you too, you have to, like, you listen to your body, right? But then you also, I think, to heal, it has to come from inside too. Um,
Oh, it does. Your strength
eh
has to come from inside. Yeah.
yes, and I needed that, and that's why I like Chris Martin now from Coldplay. Um,
Oh, there you go.
but no, it's music was really helpful in that moment for me,
Yeah.
and we hadn't told my sons, I was 44 when mine was discovered, but we hadn't told my sons at the
Okay.
time yet because I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Right.
And just like you, I'm sure you probably didn't tell your kids because they were 8 and 12, right? Yeah, I think
They
it's
were
fair to say.
young. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard to, and you want to be the brave one for your children.
Right.
And
Right.
I totally agree with
I
you.
don't remember when I told my kids. Actually, I don't remember exactly when I told. I'm sure they do, but I don't remember when I told.
I think I waited until because I had already gone through breast cancer the first time. And then this is 3 or 4
Right.
years later, right? And
God.
so they were young. And I really don't remember telling them, but then I knew another sign. I'm just one of those people, I look for signs, like the rainbow over
Right.
my neighborhood, when, like, it's gonna be that's kinda me that now help me be
There
positive.
you go. Right.
Just little, like
Oh,
you
that's
said,
good.
little
Right.
things.
Little things, little positive things.
And then I'm sure you had, like, a beacon, your hope, what was your thing that to look forward? What got you up every morning, Sherry?
I mean, obviously getting home to my kids, but also I'm a marine biologist. And I thought I would never, be a marine biologist again. And one of my speech therapists who made such an impact on me, I had a poster of whales in my room, and she would come in, instead of making me read words on cards, she would make me say the names of the whales, and then make me say the names of the whales and the scientific names of the whales. So really complicated names that I still remember. And then I'm trying to say them very clearly at first, but you still had to use all your muscles in your mouth. So it's good speech therapy. But also what that did, and I still keep in touch with her and tell her this, that it gave me hope that I would get back to being a marine biologist. That somewhere inside I was still a marine biologist.
Yes, I love that. The visuals
So
that she
getting that right.
yes, that is
That
really
that's a
good.
tip that I give to medical professionals, to use whatever the patient has in their room to connect with them. There's something in there, whether it's flowers or something they're wearing on their t-shirt, or a poster of a sports star, if you like sports, a picture of their baby. I mean, something. There's something in their room
Right,
that you
it
can tell.
definitely gives you hope, something to look forward to,
Yes.
and so you mentioned that you're now back as a marine biologist still, or you're working on
Well,
that?
I teach biology. No, I teach biology full time at a college. I
Okay,
teach all online right now. When I first came back, I knew that I couldn't, stand up and do lectures 3 times a
right.
week. I just don't have the energy for that. So I started teaching online, and I would just go in for labs. So I was online way before, the pandemic. So when the pandemic
Right.
hit, I would help others because they had to go online immediately. And and then I started just doing online labs too, because it got too hard to go in for labs. But yeah, teaching online really saved me. So I still get to teach about animals. I still get to teach marine biology. So I'm the same person on the inside. I just have to express it a little bit differently on the outside.
I love that. That is beautiful. You're acknowledging that, and then your students, probably help you provide value. You feel like you have some value still, right?
Right. And they of course treat me, normally because they don't know any other version of me. So I'm just, Professor Bookstaff to them. They don't know.
I love that. It's a beautiful story. Your I wanna kinda jump back to your impact of empathy. So that is a really cool, the nonprofit thing that you did. And again, it's I assume it adds in, weaves in how to be positive somehow, right, in a
Oh
situation.
yeah, like I recently gave a presentation to student leaders at the school I teach at. And one of the ways to lead with empathy is to project positivity. So I spent a lot of time on how to be positive. Like I have mantras that I live by. Um, I have many ways to try to be positive, but looking for cranberries, living by these mantras, those kind of things. Not just smile, because my smile is funky because my left side doesn't work as well. So I don't say just smile and it'll go away, but change your internal scenery. So thinking about things that you want to be doing, will help with your positivity. So there's ways to make sure that your inside is positive and you can project positivity. And that's a great way to lead with positivity.
Right, you gotta do you not just say it, you gotta actually do it too, right?
You got to do it. Yes. Yes.
That is
You have to
so
do it.
amazing. I think your story is beautiful, and just because I understand what you went through, and it
You
scared the living
understand. Yeah.
right, it's just scary. I'm sure I empathize with you, what you went through because we know, though even though I didn't have the surgery like you, the radiation to me
Right.
took me a while to get over that because I would talk about
Right.
vertigo.
If they're drilling into your skull, yeah,
You have to learn to
they're still
walk
drilling into your.
properly again, right? And
Right. I had to learn to do everything again. I didn't eat. I didn't swallow for 6 months.
oh my
So I was
gosh.
fed through a tube. So it was everything. I had to learn how to swallow. Like, do you know how to swallow? Like, you just do it. I had to be told, you have to crunch these muscles and then crunch these muscles. And I mean, learning how to swallow is not something that
Wow.
need to
Yeah,
learn. That's something you just do.
I guess it's those muscles that are connected to, everything in the nerves here, right? Um,
Yeah, and my vocal cords were paralyzed, so learning, getting them to be a little more mobile. That's how you swallow. And
right.
without swallowing, you can't eat. So
That's yeah, I didn't have to deal with that aspect, but I did have major twitching on my
right, right.
right, I mean, I didn't that's what it was. It was just, freaky. I should say freaky, but, there's nothing
It's
wrong with
freaky.
me,
It's okay.
sorry.
It's freaky. It's
Yeah.
freaky.
It is, it scared me, but, and that's one of the things, like, I'm careful about caffeine. I'm sure you have to still watch what you for me,
Oh,
caffeine
I drink caffeine. I'm okay with anything.
right, and I think for some reason, it activated my twitching in my face, and so I just don't for some reason, I don't you still know, I'm still we're both of us are still here,
Right. You're still,
and
yeah, and you modify. But I have to watch my eat just because, I'll gain weight way too much.
but
Because
that's what
somebody
it
once
is.
said to me, because I lost so much weight in the hospital, and then when I came home, somebody said to me, "Well, at least you can eat whatever you want. That's a good thing. You can eat whatever you want." And I said, "Okay." So I was like, just eat whatever I wanted, and you can't eat whatever you want.
No, you had to still I'm sure that affected your mobility a little bit for quite a while.
Right? You still have to be careful. Yeah.
You have to be careful, and you have to, just do what's right for you, right? And I think everybody
Yeah.
is different, and I think that's great you found the right doctors to help you, and just I learned that too. I only work with doctors who let me ask them questions, uh,
Right.
because they're gonna be more open, like, to the empathy and to
Right.
understand.
And that's pretty bad doctors. Like one of my eye doctors, because I don't see well out of my left eye. And one doctor was like, I just want to make sure that you don't lose the eye. And as I was trying to ask him more questions, he was literally standing at the door trying to leave. And I'm like, "You're done. We're done with
Yeah,
you." Now I'm
right,
back to my regular basic ophthalmologist that doesn't have all these letters after their name, and I was like, "No, help me! I can't deal with this specialist anymore."
right, and I'm sure they, like, the tumor we have is very rare, and so a lot of them, at least where I live, didn't know what to do, and it did they tell you I'm just kinda jumping around a little bit. I was told by a neurologist that mine was probably caused by radiation exposure for me. That's what
Oh,
they
they told me they have no idea what causes it.
they said, "What?"
They said they have no idea what causes it.
Oh, that's what they've said to me,
Wow,
and,
that's interesting because they told me they didn't know what caused it.
well, a lot of sometimes it's genetic, and I don't have that. I did
I
the
don't
D
have that in my family. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't do that, but anyway, and I grew up it just makes sense. I grew up around military bases. I'm a military brat,
okay.
so you're exposed to things, and I'm not saying that's what it could be the old school mobile phones, Sherry, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe, yeah, I don't know, but
You don't know, and,
I don't know.
but that's why I have no hearing in my left, but I do in
Yeah,
my
I have
right.
no hair in my left one.
Right,
Yeah.
so
But at the time of my tumor, we hadn't been using mobile phones for that long.
Oh, okay.
So,
Mine came
how could it be?
Yeah, mine was mobile phones came out I had my first mobile phone in mid-90s or something like that, or late 90s.
Wow. No, it's later than that. And we used them, but you didn't use them all the time for everything.
No, but they
So,
believe this is the neurologist. I saw neurologists, I saw the
yeah.
neurosurgeons, I saw ENTs, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're exposed to" that's what they believe. It was for me. And,
Yeah.
okay, whatever. But, so I'm, like, paranoid to put phones near my ear.
Wow.
I'm sorry, for this
No,
ear.
they never told me that.
Well,
Right, you're
that's
right there. You don't
yeah,
wanna
my
lose
good
your
ear.
right ear
So,
too.
if you're on my talking to Bridget, you're gonna be on a, speakerphone. Sorry.
Right, right.
Anyway,
But, my kids will still come up and whisper something in my left ear, and I'm like, no matter how important it is, I'm not gonna hear you.
well, right, and I've learned to some people don't know about your situation, right? And if you
Right,
talk
they
to
don't
me,
know, just that's
I just
fine, but
smile and nod my head like, "Yep."
right, a lot of people just come up and whisper something in my left ear, and I'm like, "No idea what you said."
Right, I'm like, it depends on the situation. Sometimes I'll say, "I can't
Right,
hear. Can you repeat that?" But sometimes I don't
right.
care. It just I
Right,
know
it's a good way to not listen to what you don't wanna hear.
right, maybe I didn't wanna really hear it, but, it's amazing though that you can still hear and that you are here, HERE, and that you're out helping students again, and you found a
It's for
doctor who
sure.
can help you speak by using visuals, using something that made you happy, and I think
Well, I still go out whale watching, so
oh,
that's the
that's so
awesome thing,
beautiful. That is so
to go out and
beautiful.
do that. Yeah.
That is so cool,
It's
and I
hard
think
hard to get on a boat, but it's doable. It's just I need help on a boat. I can't walk around the boat,
right, yeah,
you know,
that's I've
but
learned that too. I won't think I would be comfortable going on a cruise, or I mean, not that I think I just get pulled over, like, really easily pulled over for some reason. For
right,
my
right.
my brain is trying to overbalance, and that's probably like the boat is not very level, and I'm not saying
It's
cruises
not very level.
are not
And then
level at
have a
all.
few drinks and try it then.
Right, and
But I'll do challenging things if I have something with me,
you're
that
right.
I can go
Something
walk on.
support you. Right.
Walk down that steep hill. And you gotta both be holding on, like
Right,
on a boat, but
I've noticed we live by a lake too, and we have a dock, and if I cannot stand it in the summer, excuse me, when people go with their ski boats nearby, it makes the dock,
and
like,
then
all
you make
wobbly.
that, yeah.
I'm like, "Oh," and I can't handle that, and,
I would totally fall, yeah.
right, and then but I'm not at your l I mean, I'm totally, lower level as you, but it's still because my body is trying to compensate or my brain, excuse me, your right side probably overdoes it, right? Is what I'm saying. Maybe that's probably why you, like, lean like me
I
or
tend to fall to the right.
yes,
I
because
tend
they're
to fall to the right, yes.
your right side of your brain is trying to do all the work, and
And my right side is so much stronger, so I
yes,
tend to, to put more effort into my right side. Not more effort, more weight into my right side. So I think that's why I fall to the right.
right, and I remember too, in the beginning after all this treatment, I had a hard time walking, outside in the dark, you know what I'm saying, on the sidewalk or something because
Yeah,
you you people who don't know I'm sure you're like me, my sense of smell is fantastic, really good now, and
yeah.
and my vision is okay, but but you still if you can't hear anything and you can't see, it's just kinda hard, your brain is not
Right.
quite sure what to do, and that's
That's
why
true.
you have to
And if
be
somebody comes up behind you, like a
scary.
biker come up behind you and say, "Excuse me," and you can't hear them.
Right, especially on
So,
the left.
right, you're not moving.
Right, I didn't hear you,
So it
sorry.
is helpful.
I,
Right.
so where can people get your book, When Life Throws You Lemons, Make Cranberry Juice? Where can I get that?
It is on Amazon. You can Google either my name or on Amazon, we'll search for my name or the title. But also if you go to impactofempathy.net, all my links are on there.
Okay.
You can learn more about empathy and how I view empathy. You can connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. I guess Twitter's not Twitter anymore,
Yeah,
but
where they are, right.
right, wherever they are. So all of them. I'm on all the social media platforms.
I
And
think
I'd
this
love to come talk to anybody who's got, leaders that need some empathy and training.
I think you're a great inspiration and a motivation. You're still here and you asked the right questions. You knew that you had to find a solution and you found a solution. And now you're trying to educate the doctors and
Right.
other
Definitely the
people.
doctors, yes.
They aren't taught this empathy, I don't think, in school.
Oh,
Um,
they're not at all. And doctors who have been practicing for a long time, they're not receptive because they don't think they have time for empathy. And I'm like, isn't it easier to work with a patient who is being cooperative?
yes,
Speaking as a difficult patient, I know it's easier to work with me if I'm letting you take blood from my arm and
right,
not pulling my arm back. Like, what takes less time?
right.
So empathy saves time. It doesn't take more time.
That is
And that's the thing I need to get them to realize.
that is beautiful. That is a great way, to end our conversation. So I really appreciate your time and sharing your story, sharing. And those that are listening, I'll have the link for her site, impactofempathy.net will be in the description. And
Thank you so
I think
much.
you're very inspirational, and I love talking to other people. Well, I haven't talked to too many who have dealt with this kind of tumor, so this is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.